Welcome to my channel. My name's Addie, and today I'm going to be doing my monthly book wrap-up for the month of April. In April, I read a total of 7 books, and I had my first DNF of the year on a book that was rather popular, or at least it has really good ratings on Goodreads, and I see it everywhere on my TikTok. A majority of my books, pretty much all of them except Bane, I read all either through the library or digitally. So let's start with the one that I physically have to show you guys. So Bane, I gave this book 4 stars, and it is the second one in the Light Lark series. This book ends on a cliffhanger. I don't know which love interest is my favorite. If you know, you know. And I'm hoping that for the third book, the author does a little bit of a recap, because if I hadn't just read the first one, I would need to reread it, because this book does no recap. It just jumps right into where the last book left off, which was on a cliffhanger. Overall, I really did enjoy this series, and I am looking forward to the next one. The 4 stars is mostly just because of the way that she wrote it. I didn't quite like, but otherwise, great book. The rest of the books that I have to share with you guys, I don't physically have because I borrowed them through the library. So I'll just put a picture of them here. And I'll share them with you guys in the order that I read them in, because Bane was not the first book that I finished in April. The first book that I finished was The Stolen Heir. I gave this book 4 stars, and this book takes place in the same world as Cruel Prince, and it follows the younger brother of the main character in Cruel Prince. I would probably never read the Cruel Prince series again, and this book here is part of a duology. So there's 2 of them, and I've only read the one. I should probably pick up the second one, but honestly now I don't even remember this one as much. It essentially followed her younger brother and another character that he was like meant to be engaged with during the first book, but the engagement didn't work out. And obviously the younger brother is considerably older in this book. Like I said, I don't think these are the best books, but I don't think they're the worst books. Next, I read The Measure. This book, oh my God. I picked this up at the library because it was part of their book club, and am I so glad that I picked it up. It's the first book that I've picked up from my local library's book club. It essentially has the premise that everyone's receiving these boxes with a string in it, and essentially now everyone knows when they're going to die. So some people have shorter strings than other people, and it follows, I think it's like 7 or 8 different people's journeys as all of this is developing with the strings. It made me cry. It had a phenomenal ending, and it's a really thought-provoking book. I like to read a lot of fantasy books, so I like to mix in these more real-life set books in between as a little palate cleanser before I jump back into my next fantasy read. But this one's great. I'm pretty sure I gave this 5 stars. I sure did. I gave this 5 stars. This is an extremely underrated book. I haven't seen it anywhere, and I'm gonna recommend it to everybody. All right, on to the next one is Almost Adulting. I gave this one, I think, 3 stars. It's a self-development book, which I try to read one of those or reread one of the ones that I've already read in the past, just to, you know, stay sharp. This book is more for a very young adult, and it's not necessarily a self-help book, more as you're hearing the story of someone else and how they're going about adulting. It was cute. I liked it. And it's a really cute book for someone who wants to dive their toes into the self-development books. But I would recommend something else, like The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck or Atomic Habits. That's a phenomenal book. This one's okay, though. I'm not going to rag on it. After this one, I read Bane, which I already talked with you guys about. After Bane, I read Burden of Ice and... Let me make sure I'm saying that right. Yeah, A Burden of Ice and Bone. I gave this book 2 stars. This book was really weird, and the only reason that I didn't DNF this one is because I received this as an ARC copy, so I felt the need to barrel through it. But it's a very peculiar story with this girl's love for a freaking polar bear. I don't recommend this book, although maybe it is for someone, but it's just not for me. So, things we leave unfinished. This book is by Rebecca Yarros. She's the same one who wrote Fourth Wing, which is essentially the only reason I picked up this book. I'm glad that I did, and now I want to binge read all of her books. This book was phenomenal. It made me cry. The love story in it was great. This book has 2 love stories. It follows the modern time, and then it shifts back in time to show you her grandmother's love story. And this book has a little plot twist that is so amazing. I recommend reading it. It's a phenomenal book. I gave it 5 stars. Now on to my last book, Shark Heart. This is the book that I DNF'd. This is such a weird story. Even the way that it was written was extremely peculiar. Essentially, this dude is turning into a shark, and there's a love story in it. I got about, I think it was like 30% in before I was like, nah, I can't keep doing this. It's just, I don't know if it's because of the way it was written that I couldn't barrel through it. But if you look at the reviews for this book, it's like, I'm pretty sure it's almost a 5-star read. I think I gave it 2 stars. I give it 1 star. I don't often give books 1 stars, but I think I committed to giving all of my DNFs 1 star. So I did give this 1 star. I didn't finish it. The cover is beautiful. The story is horrendous. Let me know in the comments if you're one of the people that read this book and liked it, or any of the other books that I shared with you guys. That is all of the ones that I read in April. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.